Hello everybody, it's Portal, and welcome to my second specific killer guide. Today, I'll be going over one of the creepiest, but also one of my favorite killers in Dead by Daylight, the Dredge. Firstly, before all else, I'd love it if you could hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and leave a like, as I'm trying to grow my channel now more than I ever have before, and this kind of support really helps fuel my passion to create this type of content. Now, sorry for that self-promo, but it would really help my channel. The Dredge is the newest killer in Dead by Daylight, with its unique power helping with map traversal, stealth, anti-loop, and generally scaring the ever-loving shit out of survivors. Let's get right into the guide. Starting off, I'll go over the Dredge's basic stats. Like most killers, the Dredge has a 32-meter terror radius and has 115% movement speed. It is also in the tall category of height, so it is quite visible in medium loops due to its size. The Dredge's unique power is called Reign of Darkness. There are 3 separate parts of Reign of Darkness. The first part is called the Gloaming. Holding down the ability button will leave a remnant behind you. More on the remnant later. While holding down your power button, you will move slower than survivors, and the Dredge is able to look at any locker on the map and hit the active ability button to teleport to that locker. When inside a locker, you can either exit the locker or continue teleporting to other lockers around the map. When you exit a locker, the Gloaming has a 12-second cooldown. When you teleport, you use up 1 token of your power. Once out of tokens, you will be unable to teleport until your power fully recharges. When inside of a locker, survivors won't be able to tell that you are inside until 8 seconds pass from when you first enter one. So make sure you don't spend too long inside waiting for the perfect moment, as a survivor will most likely be able to tell that you are inside a locker. Survivors are also able to lock a locker, making it harder for you to exit it. When you enter a locked locker, you will be forced to spend a few seconds breaking out before exiting, alerting nearby survivors and giving them a chance to escape. If you walk by a locked locker without teleporting into it, you can break the lock with a basic attack, saving time if you plan on teleporting there later. If you happen to teleport to a locker when either a survivor is locking the locker, opening the locker, leaving the locker, or if they happen to be inside of the locker, you will instantly down them and put them on your shoulder. This is not very common, but when it happens, it's a fresh smack of dopamine in the brain. This is the map pressure part of the Dredge's power, allowing it to teleport across the map incredibly quickly, offering non-stop chase action as you terrify survivors with your locker jump scares. Now back to the remnant part of the Gloaming. As I've stated before, charging your power will leave a remnant behind. If you decide to not teleport to a locker, you can hit the attack button to immediately return to the remnant, or you can stop charging to stay where you are. This part may not seem that useful, but at a loop you can charge your power to leave a remnant behind and continue chasing, forcing the survivor to either abandon the loop or take a hit when you return back to the remnant. The remnant is the anti-loop part of the Dredge's power, allowing it to trap survivors between a rock and a hard place, forcing them to either abandon a safe loop or by making them take a hit from either you or by chasing them into your remnant, allowing you to teleport back to it and hitting them. The third and most horrifying part of the Dredge's power is called Nightfall. Very slowly over the course of the game, a meter bar will fill up called Nightfall. The rate at which this meter charges will increase with every injured survivor and when you are hiding inside of a locker. You will also gain instant progress in the bar when you hit a survivor with a basic attack, hook a survivor, or when you teleport back to your remnant. I've left the actual stats of the charge rate on screen, as the actual times aren't that important, but it's still good to know. Once you reach 85% charge, survivors will begin to hear that Nightfall is starting soon. Once you reach 100%, Nightfall will begin after a 3-second delay. When in Nightfall, the map darkens considerably for survivors and the map appears in black and white for the Dredge. There will be constant cries of pain from the past victims of the Dredge, which can distract survivors and will most likely put them on edge. This part still freaks me out even when playing as it. The Dredge is also undetectable during Nightfall, so survivors won't hear his terror radius. During Nightfall, your teleport to a locker happens about 3 times as fast as it would when out of Nightfall, and the cooldown of the Gloaming is reduced from 12 to 4 seconds. Also, when you teleport to a locker, nearby survivors are highlighted with Killer Instinct. This also occurs when you teleport back to a remnant. Survivors can see each other in the darkness when within 54 meters away from each other, seeing them in a white outline, and can see the dredge in that white outline when within 20 meters, as to not make it incredibly overpowered. After a base of 60 seconds, Nightfall will end in a 1.5 second delay. Nightfall is the stealth part of the Dredge's power, and I would also consider it borderline mental warfare, because when you play against a Dredge, you will have to be constantly on your toes, looking side to side and be prepared for it to burst out of a nearby locker when Nightfall is on. The Dredge has one of the most unique powers, allowing it to easily traverse the map and have good anti-loop with the gloaming, and having good stealth and jumpscare aspects with Nightfall. I would consider the Dredge to be a pretty damn good killer. He's probably a solid A-tier killer due to his fair counterplay but incredibly strong power when used right. Comparatively to his power, I'd consider the Dredge's 3 teachable perks as underwhelming with one exception. Its first perk is called Disillusion. 3 seconds after injuring a survivor, Disillusion is activated for 12, 16, or 20 seconds depending on its level. When it is active and a survivor fast faults a pallet within the killer's terror radius, that pallet will be broken and Disillusion will be deactivated. While this perk sounds okay on paper, it actually informs the survivor that the killer has Disillusion when they are hit. So, if they recognize it, they can just ignore pallets to save them and make the perk borderline useless. I'd give this perk a solid 5 out of 10 because it doesn't activate reliably and good survivors can just use normal counterplay to make it useless. However, it is a great time saver if you can use it in a chase. Also, note that if you are undetectable, this perk cannot be used as you have no terror radius, hurting the perk's owner, the Dredge, when it is in Nightfall. The Dredge's second teachable perk is Darkness Revealed. When opening a locker, you can see the auras of all survivors within 8 meters of a locker for 3, 4, or 5 seconds depending on level. Darkness Revealed has a cooldown of 30 seconds at all levels. Out of all of the Dredge's perks, this is by far the best one of the bunch, as it gives good information as many generators are within 8 meters of a locker, allowing you to see survivors and what they are doing every 30 seconds. This perk can be used very well with the Dredge's power, allowing you to plan your route to surprise survivors. It's also your best shot at getting a locker grab. If you see a survivor either entering a locker or walking up to it, immediately teleport to it for a shot at an insta-down. If I had to rank this perk out of 10, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. It gives you a lot of info, but it is really dependent on what your killer is to see what you can do with it. I would recommend using this perk on killers who want to regularly open lockers, like Huntress or Trickster for their reloads, as it gives them solid info and can lead to a cross-map snipe on Huntress. It is also very good on fast killers like Billy, Blight, or Nurse, as the information you get can lead to a chase within 10 seconds, due to their ability to traverse the map very quickly. The Dredge's final perk is Septic Touch. When a survivor is healing in your terror radius, they will suffer from the blindness status effect and from the exhausted status effect while they heal and for 6, 8, or 10 seconds after they stop healing based on level. If I had to rank this perk out of 10, I'd give it a solid 4 out of 10. It can be used on killers with a large terror radius like the Doctor with his add-ons, and with those who injure survivors quickly like the Legion. But once a survivor notices the effect, they will most likely just stop healing and wait to be out of your terror radius, and then heal. It has some very clear counterplay, but has a solid use when combined with Nurse's Calling, as that will reveal survivors to you if they are healing within your terror radius. Despite this solid combo, it is hard to use because if you want to use Nurse's Calling, you're going to use it on stealthy killers, and you are unable to use Septic Touch if you have no terror radius, so they don't complement each other that well. Overall, I feel like the Dredge has underwhelming perks, except for Darkness Revealed. They all have a use, so it is a shame that 2 of these perks clash with the Dredge's Nightfall, as he has no terror radius during it, and those 2 require a terror radius. I instead wish that they changed the terror radius requirements to being within 32 meters or so killers who have stealth can use these perks. But apart from that, at least these perks are usable on most killers, but I recommend that out of all of these, use Darkness Revealed, as it is super strong on many killers. Now for the add-ons that I recommend. I almost always recommend the brown add-on Caffeine Tablets, as it shows you which lockers are locked when you charge your power. This will allow you to see where survivors started if they foolishly locked lockers as soon as the game started. I also recommend any add-on that increases the charge time for Nightfall, as that is when you are at your most powerful. There are many to choose from, so I recommend that you find one that best suits your playstyle and try it out. In terms of gameplay, I recommend that you work on mastering the use of Remnant in chases. If you practice enough with that part of his power, you will be able to be a menace in any chase. Now, just like last video, I will have a whole game as the Dredge where I commentate at specific important moments. Once again, this segment is inspired by Pain Reliever's killer commentaries, so a big thanks to him for his amazing style of commentary. At the start of the game, I patrol until checking which lockers are locked with the gloaming. I teleport to a locker close to one of the locked ones to see who is nearby. Looks like we got Mikasa. Let's break these locks. Was that a pallet I just heard? I start looping at the shack, but out of the corner of my ears, I hear a generator being repaired. I'll break this lock for safekeeping later. Oops, I guess my remnant scared her. I'll check back where Mikasa was. I'll force her off the gen and start breaking these pallets. These pallets were super close by. I'm very lucky that I have Enduring and Spirit Fury together. I guess Ace second-guessed the lockers nearby. Literally just existing as the Dredge creates tension near any locker. Get off of this gen, damn. I've been here 3 times already. Smack, smack. I guess I made the right choice of which gen to teleport to. Poor Yunjin didn't even know what hit her. She's healed, so this isn't tunneling, right? Morals aside, let's go back to see who unhooked Yunjin. I guess I interrupted a party. I love the killer instinct part of my power, as well as highlighting survivors' auras. It makes it so easy to track them during nightfall. Word of advice, avoid that pallet on this map. It's so unsafe. Alright, sure, I guess I'll chase you. God damn, you are very vaulty. Luckily, Enduring Spirit Fury lets me counter this smash hit. If I didn't have that combo, I would have wasted so much time. Smack, smack. Nightfall is so powerful. I can't understate how much I love this part of the Dredge's power. Claudette, there's a hook right here. You're not wasting that much time for me. I'll give Mikasa a chance. Besides, I don't want to tunnel a scout. Okay, maybe I do. Well, this is just sad. What's up, Yunjin? Well, I guess I lost her. Oh, hi. I had to double check if there was any locker offerings, but I guess I was in the clear. Boo. Ah, what the hell. She was by far the best survivor here. Let's give her the hatch. I always like to walk up to hooks right before the hatch, just to scare the shit out of the poor survivors. But I always still let them go. Just a little killer made fun. This was a well-played game. Everyone here played well, but I did come out on top in the end. Well played to everyone, and especially the Yunjin for being a good sport about me scaring her in post-chat. The Dredge is an interesting fella. With a strong, all-rounded power, it feels like a direct upgrade to Sadako, and despite that, I still prefer to play as her compared to it. Nonetheless, I do enjoy the Dredge, with one of the most unique and horrifying powers in the entire game. And that will be it for today's Killer Guide. I hope you enjoyed my basic overview of the Dredge. If you learned something new or enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified for whenever I upload. I'm going to do more killer guides, with one being uploaded either this Monday or maybe even before if I have more time to work. I am still working on a video going over how video games can accurately and creatively portray anxiety, so look forward to that releasing sometime this August or September. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.